Hello. I'm really excited to talk to you today about something that I was just thinking about because I was working with a client, and the client was talking about the way their children are behaving now, and they get to see it particularly when they come to them during a stressful time like the holidays, which we are just in. And what that is the effect of having a relentlessly difficult person, one of those hijackals that I talk about, who is the co-parent that you are working with. And I began to see, as working with this client, how very clearly in her case that the children had adopted one particular strategy that we could isolate recently when they came for the holidays. When the stress level raised up in the kids, when they had to decide between this parent or that parent, how much time here, how much time there, where am I safe, where am I not safe, so many variables for kids, that the kids started to revert to something that they were doing before, and we had talked about it, but it really jumped out during the holiday season. And what that is the kids were doing what hijackals do. They started really demonstrating their fear and the quality of all or nothing or black or white thinking. When you're with a hijackal, what they do is they're 1 minute you are the best thing that ever happened to them, and maybe the wind changed, or you say something, or you don't say something, it doesn't matter, and all of a sudden you are the scum of the earth and they don't know why they bothered with you. That's all or nothing, black or white thinking. There's nothing between black and white or all or nothing. There is no gray area. There are no negotiations. There are no considerations. In fact, if they had their way, there wouldn't be any conversations either, because they make all these decisions in their head. And then you get the result of them, which is very unhappy making and somewhat crazy making too. And you know that. And so I noticed the tendency in her children who were coming for the holidays. I don't know these children, but I was helping them get ready for the holidays. And the children were coming to, well, I can't come to your house this holidays because, or I want to spend the whole holidays with you. And there was no in between. It was all or nothing. And their fear of being with their hijackal father was so great that they did not want for 1 minute, and they've learned that very, very carefully. I've been working with this family for a while. They did not want to be in any way in his face or causing any upset there. So they were willing to say no to their mother just to be safe with their father. And then we started talking about the way that plays out in most of the things that they talk about. That things in their child's life are black and white. Like even when they consider wanting to take lessons or something, they have to be all or nothing, and that's the way a hijacker will tell it. I remember when I asked for a piano when I was 5 years old, and my mother and father said no, and we didn't have much money, and I kept asking and kept asking and kept asking. Um, at 7 years old, my hijackal mother said to me one day, completely out of the blue, well, we've rented a piano for you, young lady, and if we ever have to tell you to practice, it goes back. Now that's all or nothing thinking. That is, there are no options. There is no wiggle room. It's either this or it's that, and no negotiation. So we're talking about this with her and her children and her new partner, because that dynamic, of course, is huge. Now we have a new partner who has children. And so we've got a new mix, a new blend, new considerations. Everybody has things to think about and work on. So we're trying to do the best, preparing for the children, the blended family, to come together for the holidays. And we begin to see in both sets of children, as we talked, that they were already engaging in all or nothing thinking and making demands. Now that is really something to note if that's happening in your children. Because if they don't understand that they can negotiate with you, that they can sit down and have a conversation, that you want to hear them, you want to consider what they're saying, and you demonstrate and validate that they have a right to their feelings and their wants and needs, then you demonstrate that you are not engaged in the hijackal thinking and the hijackal way of being and creating a relationship that's happening with the other parent. And if you haven't healed from all you've been through, let's talk about that. You can always have a consultation, an initial consultation with me at the fabulous price of only $97 for an hour, so that we get to know each other and talk about what's possible to solve things. But if you haven't solved the all or nothing thinking within yourself, or your fear of meeting that all or nothing thinking, then you need to do a little work, because you're going to be demonstrating that for your children, as you know. And moving away from a relationship with a hijackal towards a relationship that has some health and has some space and has some relaxation, and the children don't have to be tense and on edge, and neither do you, it's a really big step. So with this all or nothing thinking, you know how that was with the hijackal. 1 minute you're wonderful, the next minute you're worthless. 1 minute they're going to do something, next minute they're not. I mean, it is always, always ambiguous and chaotic. We know that. And, if you don't know all of the hijackal hallmarks, I do have a product for that. Just go to forrelationshiphelp.com and look at the products. Yeah, you'll see the one called Seeing the Cycles, so that you can actually understand what they are. But one of those hallmarks is this all or nothing thinking business. And you may not even have noticed how it crept up on you. But because your children's brain development is more open and things are going in that have no filters, they were picking it up. And both of these people, when we really looked at their children, the children were engaged in all or nothing thinking. So what a Christmas gift, what a holiday gift, whatever you celebrate, but what a gift to give the children to be able to say, no, it doesn't have to be either or. There are all kinds of places in between those two things that we could consider. Let's just sit down and maybe make a list of all the places that there are between this and that, and then we'll make a decision on what works for us. So you could really take the stress out of your own life by understanding this. You could take the stress out of your children's lives by understanding this is what they have had modeled to them, and so therefore they think this is the way to do things, and they live in the fear of not doing it that way. So at your home, make it safe, make it comfortable. Certainly we all need non-negotiable boundaries, but we're not talking about boundaries here. We're talking about possibilities. And it's not this or this. It's particularly around behaviors or needs or wants. There are all kinds of possibilities. And I want you to encourage the children to think about those possibilities. Encourage yourself. If you find that place within you that's scared that if I don't do this, this will happen, and therefore there are only two options. No, there are lots of options. You can watch my videos at my YouTube channel, which is For Relationship Help. You'll learn about that, or listen to the Save Your Sanity podcast, wherever you like to get podcasts. It's a big deal. It was a really big revelation for this new family to be able to see that they could lead their children to have more latitude in their thinking, to have better conversations, richer conversations, and they would be listened to, they would be heard. Oh, why do you want that? Why would that be important? And that you were interested, because hijackals aren't interested. They just want what they want when they want it, and you know that. And that's what the children have seen. But you can have freedom from that, and you can give your children freedom from that. And I sincerely hope you will. I'm Dr. Rhoberta Shaler, the Relationship Help Doctor. Find me at FOR, relationshiphelp.com, or listen to my podcasts. You can see them on forrelationshiphelp.com too. I hope that this helps you and certainly gives your children a new model as well. Take good care, and let's talk soon.